Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers, welcome back to another episode of the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. I am your host, Jen Glantz. It's November. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth, but here we are. We have 2 months left of the year. For some of you, you're cheering to that. You just want 2019 to be over. And for others of you, the thought of starting all over again on a brand new year can be a little bit scary. I fall somewhere in between, and I'll tell you why as this episode goes on. But first, I want to do a bit of a recap from the last week since we last hung out together. So the first thing I want to talk about is something really crazy that I found on the internet. I don't know if you've heard this story or if you've seen it going on, but there's this whole story about how women all over the country were mailed this card, and it looked like a card that you would mail for someone's birthday. It had an avocado on it, and it said something about like, congratulations, you're pregnant. And when they opened up the card inside, it looked like it was signed from someone named Jenny, congratulating the person on being pregnant. And inside the card were all these gift cards and coupons, and this was sent to like hundreds of thousands of women all over the country who were not pregnant. It was a marketing plan gone completely wrong, super offensive, and crazy. I've been posting this all over Facebook, and so many people I know have received this card. Honestly, could you imagine opening your mailbox and in it is a card congratulating you that you're pregnant? First of all, the craziest part is that they sent it to a lot of people's old permanent mailing address. So maybe like when you were in high school or whatever. So a lot of people's parents got this card on their behalf, calling their daughters like, oh my gosh, you're pregnant, what? This riled a lot of people up, to say the least. And I did not get one of these cards in the mail, but I am so glad I didn't, because I would have raised hell. Something about last week that I'm really excited and pumped about is the new Kesha song called Raising Hell. If you haven't checked it out, listen to it. It has become my ultimate theme song. That is my pump up jam. That is the jam I blast on the elliptical for the 20 minutes I'm on it, just to go fast. There's a couple of like really cool dance breaks in between the songs. So that's usually where I go crazy. Something I'm working on right now, I'm trying to get my shit together before the end of the year. So I've been brainstorming a recap of all the projects I've worked on, what I'm eager to work on next year, and some of my dream things, some of the things that I'm dreaming really hard about, and hopefully I'll start to put them in motion. I am the kind of person who has a million ideas, and I try to execute maybe 900,000 of them, but even still, I never get all of them done. So that's what I'm currently working on. Okay, before we jump into this week's topic, I want to remind you of a couple of things. Those of you in New York City, our meetup, our final meetup of the year is on November 12th. Details can be found in the Secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group. The meetup has a theme. We're going to talk about aspirations for 2020, resolutions. We're also going to talk about how to keep each other accountable. This is a topic that so many people have requested that we do a meetup on. So New York City, I'm bringing this meetup to you. We're also going to do a book swap, because the thing about the end of the year is a lot of holiday time means a lot of family time, and not everybody enjoys being with their family 24/7. So come to the meetup. There'll be free pizza. Bring books. We'll swap them with each other. You'll walk away with new friends, new books, and a full stomach. Also, if you love this podcast, go ahead and leave us a review, rate it and review it. You can scroll all the way down on your phone. There'll be a place for you to do just that. Your reviews help us so much. It helps me keep the show free. It helps me bring on so many cool guests like last week's guest, Lori, the dream expert. And it just helps this show keep running. If you have questions or suggestions, you know where to find me. My email is jenglance@gmail.com. I live on email. I also live and vacation on Instagram. So come say hello at jenglance or at AnyYounger. So this episode, right here, right now, is something that I hope you listen to before the end of the year, because right now it's the beginning of November, but very soon people are going to start talking about something called New Year's resolutions. I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase, but basically what that means is a list of promises you make because of all the other things that you regret from the year you just lived. You make a resolution to eat less carbs in 2020, which just means that for 2019, you filled up your plate with mostly pizza, spaghetti, and loaves of bread. I am guilty of that. Your resolution for 2020 is to tell people you love them more, but that just means in 2019, you didn't say, "I'm sorry" enough. Your resolution for 2020 is to do more self-care, but that just means you spent too much time bummed out on Instagram comparing your life to other people. You get the point. But just promise yourself this before you go off and make a list of guilt-driven promises that you're going to struggle to keep and you're going to feel even more guilty by March for not doing them. First, take a look back at one thing and one thing only: the start of 2019. Let's say you get on a time machine and you go back to January 21st, 22nd. What advice did you wish you would have given yourself on that date? What did you want yourself to know back then and to do back then? Looking back now, you're smarter, you're wiser, you've lived through almost 365 days. So what is it that you wish you knew in January? Myself? I would have shaken the 2019 baby of myself and I would have screamed, "Jen, things are going to keep getting bad, but then they're going to get good." Trust what everyone around you is saying, that you will always find ways to go on. Your pain will become your new normal. And you know what, Jen? You might even finally find a way to channel all that disaster into a new project. Take an idea off of paper and bring it to life. And you know where you're going to find that idea, Jen? Where all the best ideas live. In the shower. But you know what? You're also going to find happiness in the areas you didn't expect them. You're going to be surprised by the people who you already know love you so much. So how about you? Forget about 2020 and all the promises. Think about you and you earlier on this year. What did you wish you knew? You wish you heard? You wish you believed? Because let me tell you, my friends, I have this weird psychic feeling that this is the advice you need to hear now and again, especially with the rattles of a new year about to jerk us all. Hey, you. Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, AnyYounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glance.